With the 16th pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, the Washington Commanders select Jahan Dotson, wide receiver, Penn State.
Greetings and salutations. Welcome to Ref the District, a DC sports channel dedicated to your favorite teams here in the DMV. Today we're talking about the Washington Commanders NFL 2022 Draft and their haul. We've already talked a little bit about Jahan Dotson. So we're actually going to move on to the round 2 through round 7 picks. And we got Trev and Stoner here joining myself. And guys, Trev, we'll start with you. What was your overall feeling of this draft from 2 through 7?
I think we did a good job. I think we did a very good job. I see a lot of grades have gone out as B's. I would give it a B as well. Hey, we didn't have to go after the big splashy names. Ron Rivera, we mentioned this earlier. He knows what they want. Mayhew said they know what they want, regardless of the outside noise. So, and it sounds like they're very pleased, and they got pretty much everybody they targeted or were looking at least. So, if they're happy, I'm happy. And I did a little research of the picks, not extensive, but I did some highlight research. I'm a sniff test guy, so I don't care about really stats and stuff. I just want to see what it looks like on the field. And to be honest, when we got that defensive tackle second round with the first pick in the second round, I was like Stoner's reaction that it's on our YouTube channel. Check that out, by the way. It's hilarious. I was the same way. But then, research, sniff test. Daron Payne's probably gone next year. We like to play that 5-man front. They feel like he can come in and plug and play right from the beginning. So, like I said, if they're happy with it, I'm happy with it. I love the Sam Howell pick in 5th round. I'm a Tar Heel fan. I'm glad we got a quarterback to take Taylor Heineke's spot. I'm
having a laugh here because you're hitting every single one of Stoner's hates.
My blood is boiling.
So, Percy Butler, I'm kind of excited about him a little bit. The little safety from Louisiana. So, yeah, I'm excited. I'm ready to go. I'm fired up.
Here we go. All right. Well, Stoner, we kind of alluded to the fact that some of these things are not necessarily your favorite.
I'm ready to go to war today.
These are some of Trev's favorite things.
Look at him right now.
How are you feeling right now, Stoner?
Where do you want to start? Do you want the whole list or just the top 10?
Dang, bro. It's like that really more draft?
Than 10. Well, okay. First, let me just say this. I don't know anything. I'm just a fan. So it's only my opinion, right? The people in those war rooms are 100 billion times smarter than I am about this draft. But I literally get paid to give an opinion. So I'm going to give my opinion on this. I hated the second round selection. I don't hate the player. The player may be great. And he's a defensive tackle from Alabama. He's a beast. He's probably going to be very good. I hate that they drafted him in the second round or drafted a defensive tackle in the second round for a lot of reasons. The one biggest reason is defensive tackle might be 5th or 6th on their list of needs on this team.
You don't know their needs.
You don't know that, bro.
Needs.
You don't know the list of that.
In my opinion. Okay, I'm just giving you my opinion. There's stuff going on in the background. Like when you look at different people's drafts and you're like, what are they doing? But then all of a sudden you come out later and you say, their best wide receiver just got hit with a 6-game PED suspension. That's why they did that. So there's things obviously that they know that's going on behind the
D-Hop one time
that we don't know about. So maybe there's something going on with Daron Payne that we don't know.
And also Stoner, Settle's gone, Ioannidis is gone.
I don't care.
They need
you don't care. That's
you do, bro.
Let me finish this. Do they need a defensive tackle? Yes. They need a defensive tackle. Do they need a defensive tackle in the second round? Abso-freaking-lutely not.
You don't know that, bro.
A second rounder should play every down, or
he might.
Even your first rounders don't play. If you want majority, he's probably going to play a majority. Okay. I have the stats right in front of me. Okay, Matt Ioannidis.
Is he better than Ioannidis?
Yet to be seen.
Okay.
He's not taking. This is the problem with grades, right? Is this like people are grading? We haven't even seen them get in the fields. I know you didn't.
Stutter is hot. I love this.
People are giving people a B.
Yeah.
You're hating this pick, and I'm trying to tell you objectively, it was a smart thing to do for a few reasons. One, I'm going to hit on the two things you guys are bringing up right now.
Look at Starter's face, bro.
As far as he's heated, as far as usage, Matt Ioannidis played 54%, almost 54.92% of the defensive snaps.
Because
that is a second round pick is quality. Taking up that 55% of snaps. You want to talk about the majority? That's already more than 50%. Jonathan Allen played 69. Daron Payne played 75. Playing 55% for a second round pick is what you want to see. I think that is just fine.
He wouldn't have been there
you have to take into effect the position. What are you going to be doing with your first round pick? Because your first round pick, let me go to the offensive players here. If you want to, like, Terry McLaurin played 89. Of course, he missed some. De'Ami Brown, third round pick, played 29. Adam Humphries, 58%, is the second highest receiver on this list.
Okay.
And you want to tell me about the second round pick only playing 55%? You're wrong, Stoner.
No,
you're wrong.
No, I'm
Keep
not
going.
wrong. You can't compare to what this team did last year with the injuries when you were talking about the wide receivers. Defensive tackle, you can talk about that. First of all, I don't know where you get your stats. The stats I saw said Ioannidis was at like 46%. Whatever. Either way,
Football Reference for the record. Shout out to them for the stats for today's.
Either way, a second rounder should be playing whatever
he will,
Jonathan Allen / Daron Payne are playing. 75%.
They run a 5-man. Yes, Ron Rivera went on record and said the first 4 picks. They picked them because they feel they can plug and play right now.
Okay, he's taking Ioannidis' spot. He's going to play Ioannidis percentage of the snaps.
That's fine.
At minimum.
Okay, at minimum, fine. That's what a second rounder should do.
Bro, at that position,
can impact the game in that 55% of snaps he's going to do. Trev's brought up several times the 5 defensive lineman front is one that they love to run, and now you actually have.
We didn't have anybody to do it.
You have a better.
You didn't have a linebacker to play in that too, and you still don't. That's what you should have got with your second round pick.
Here's what they're going to do: is they're actually going to play the rookie that they should have played at a different, not the middle linebacker position. That was the problem. If you play Holcomb and Davis and you've actually flipped their positions from when last year, you're looking at a much better defensive front that way. Now we're talking about the picks this time.
Yeah.
All right, keep going.
I want to bring up the Daron Payne factor that you two have brought up as far as that is concerned. This is actually a great thing. He might be gone. He probably more than likely is going to be gone. That was my first take. Was like, okay, they picked up a defensive tackle.
No, next year.
No, not this year. They're absolutely keeping him this year.
They can't get anything from him this year.
But now it's not desperation next year to where they're going to have to go get a defensive tackle.
We'll get a defensive tackle next year.
Why, Stoner?
Good teams stack their players.
What are we doing here?
People got OBD.
This is the second round.
It doesn't matter. It's not the first. It's not the first round. It's the second round. It's day 2.
That's
they
valuable. Valuable.
He is valuable, bro.
Not a 55% at most player.
55% this year. If you don't re-sign Daron Payne, he's more next year.
He's a plug-in. They got him for that 5-man front plug and play.
Which they obviously only do about 55% of the time.
Which is fine. You're not gonna get another defensive tackle anywhere in that draft with that potential that Mathis is. Think about it. You saw the rest of the draft. No other D tackle outside of Hutchinson and Trayvon Walker are valuable as high as Mathis. His own agent would have said, good thing he was snagged there because he probably wouldn't have been there after that.
I don't care about that.
You have to. That's their guy. Their second round, for all we know, could have been to lock up that specific position to plug in where Settle, Ioannidis, and Deron Payne plays.
I
Maybe
agree.
that was their focus for second round. So when Mathis was there, they got him.
That's the problem that I have.
No, he's going to play.
Focus for second round is on a guy or a position or whatever that is not impactful enough.
It is. Stoner, they run the 5-man front half of the time last year. They ran that half the time.
That's not enough to waste.
No, because they ran it
on.
because they couldn't run
the 4-man
front. They couldn't run the 4-3 very well.
We're going to agree to disagree.
They switched to the 5-man front.
You could also play him a little bit more to keep Deron Payne and Jonathan Allen fresh later in the season.
Well, that's what Ioannidis did.
And that's why they got him in the
5%.
They don't. There's not another player like Ioannidis that they could have got in the 5th round like they got Ioannidis.
You should have kept Ioannidis then.
Okay,
there's some argument that they should have kept Settle or Ioannidis, but they didn't.
This player who was Ioannidis and Settle's talent was available second round, was not going to be available and slipped down the 5th round like they were blessed with Ioannidis. He was a gem. We didn't know that.
Trev, you had much more pressing needs.
That is a pressing need, Stoner. We can't play 4-3 because of our linebacking core that we have now. So that's why we switched to the 5-man front to bring more linemen and less linebackers. That's why. It's a formation of ours now.
Stoner stuck in the mud, much like some people would say Ron Rivera's stuck in the past with his stop the run and run the ball, right? That's his philosophy. His day 2 picks were exactly that. He got a defensive tackle to stop the run in round 2. And then in round 3, they picked up Brian Robinson Jr., running back out of Alabama.
What do you mean? Oh my God.
You hate that even worse?
Nah, dog.
I don't hate the player. I don't hate Brian Robinson Jr. I hope he becomes an all-pro and the all-time leading rusher in league history in a Washington uniform.
Oh my gosh.
If you listed all of the needs for this team before the draft, running back may have been the 10th on that list.
Okay, and maybe
you have Gibson and you have McKissick.
Okay, that's
right. You have your 2 starters.
No,
I understand that none of those 2 are bruising first down.
Now you sound like EP pining for
they're not none of them are first down, pound the ball, move the chains type backs.
Okay.
But you know what? You drafted what's his name? I already forgot. Gibson. You drafted Gibson just 2 years ago. You did. Ron Rivera. You drafted him to be your starting running back just 2 years ago in the 3rd round. And now you're doing another running back?
Stoner!
He signed McKissick as well?
He did it to replace Peyton Barber. That was the reason why.
Who cares about Peyton
Obviously,
Barber?
we do because we get down there and can't freaking score with passing the ball.
So you know what, Trev? Go get Peyton Barber. Okay,
no!
Don't waste a 3rd round pick.
No, Stoner, listen to me right now.
You always want to get younger at running back.
Maybe their need at the 3rd round pick was already taken. Maybe their player at cornerback, which is a need for us, is what they wanted to be at 3rd round. But what's his name from Clemson got taken. So now all the other cornerbacks were not on their radar at that spot. So what's the next position on their radar that we could get right here with the best player available? Oh, running back. We can address that right now with the higher caliber running back.
On the let me get the best player. Okay, we're not going to get into this argument right now because we all know that best player available is the way you need to go if you want to be a better team. But here's the thing with Brian Robinson that I'm excited about as far as seeing the potential there, lining him and Gibson up on the first and second downs. Then you have Gibson and McKissick on the 3rd down. You're going to have a lot of dynamics there. Yeah, you're going to have a lot of different dynamics to be able to line up, and Scott Turner's offense does not have an excuse this time, right? They got the wide receiver in the 1st round. They've got another running back. They've got a move tight end in round 5, and Cole Turner is like 6'7".
Yep.
People wanted a tall receiver.
Cole Turner now, a 5th round tight end. Who's like the 8th tight end selected?
Hey, let me ask you this question. When was Logan Thomas drafted? Let me ask you that.
I don't care.
No, let me ask. No, because you
Stoner's
know
just
the
an
answer to
unhappy
that.
old man.
I don't
right
care.
When was he drafted? When was Travis Kelce drafted? Let me ask you that.
I don't care. I don't know, and I don't care.
You should. That.
Then why are you hating on him for being a fifth-round pick?
Exactly. Your argument is irrelevant if you don't care about that.
Because this is what we do as fans. We look at these picks and we love them, and then all of a sudden they're the next great thing, just like we did with Sammis Reyes.
Oh no, I didn't do that.
Patterson.
Of course,
I didn't
with Jamin Davis.
I
know
know.
All these guys.
I hate it.
This is the time to look at them in the positive light.
Bro,
I don't understand why you want to be a negative Nancy here, Stoner. This is the time to be positive.
They wanted.
I'm not trying to be negative per se. I'm giving my opinion on why I don't like certain picks.
What about Sam Howell?
I love
not being negative. I just don't like them.
I
love
love
the Chris Paul pick?
Signing Trey Turner.
Okay.
I love the Percy. What's his name?
Percy Butler.
The safety.
Yeah.
Percy Butler.
Percy Butler. Love that pick.
Round 4 out of Louisiana.
Those are guys. Those are the ones I love. The ones I don't love are when you use a high draft pick on positions that you don't need high draft picks. Why couldn't you do this? Just let me ask you this. Again, the number one need going into the draft was what? Linebacker. We all knew that.
We already had
going into the draft.
No, we didn't all know that. We didn't all know that because I've long been telling
wide
people
receiver
that the third safety is more important than the third linebacker. And wide receiver offensive firepower was the thing that all three of us said that we wanted them to get.
We can go get a vet linebacker right now.
Linebacker.
Okay, linebacker / Buffalo nickel, whatever you want to call it, whatever. That particular position was the number one. All right?
Nice. Yeah.
They didn't address that. Wouldn't you guys have been hyped if in the second round they took that? Sorry, I'm already blanking on the kid's name that went right after them.
Brisker.
Went 48. Brisker.
That's the one who I thought they were. I would have been myself waiting for that name to be called.
Because it's a position of need and it's a badass in the second round.
Well, also
we got badass in the second round.
We don't know what, like you said, Stoner. Maybe there's stuff behind the scenes where we weren't in a biggest need as we were at the beginning of the draft for that safety right there, where we took Mathis instead of or Brisker instead of whatever. You know, maybe we're talking to Landon Collins.
Collins. Yeah.
Maybe we're talking to Landon Collins. Maybe Percy Butler can fill that role. Maybe
I will absolutely concede all those points.
I literally feel more confident with this draft than I did last year's draft because they literally addressed every need that they needed, and they got, for the most part, the player they wanted. They've always wanted Sam Howell. They even came out and said before the Carson Wentz trade, Sam Howell was the only quarterback that Ron probably considered to be like the future of the, of the organization. But instead, they got Carson Wentz, and they still got Sam Howell in the 5th round. So, like, to hear them say that they're happy with it, not some bullcrap like, oh, we just took, we felt like the best player was there. No, they had all these players seem like already scouted, and they wanted them, and they got them where they made moves to go get these players that they wanted. They didn't do that last year. They just said, oh, Jamin Davis, he's at 19. He caught some steam. We'll take him. Nah, they were more strategic about this time, and I think they did a great job.
I think that's fair, Trev, and I think that you're probably right. I think they did have a plan, and they executed that plan. Mm-hmm. I have a problem with the plan. That's all I'm saying. They're way smarter than me. They're way, way smarter than me, obviously.
So why didn't you like this? So why do you like the Sam Howell pick? What's wrong with the Sam Howell pick?
He didn't want a QB at all.
Because you tweeted it. I saw you tweeting everything. Why? Why not?
I mean, the Sam Howell pick.
He didn't use the ref account for that one, did he?
No. So for the 5th, what would you have taken?
Let me give you guys a chance to convince me.
Careful now. The Howlers are going to come after you.
I can be convinced. Tell me why the Sam Howell pick was a good pick.
Because it's the 5th round. We got him in the 5th round as a steal. Like, I know he was projected at one point going like in the top round, but let's be honest, he wasn't going to. But Sam Howell's no slouch. He only had a bad year last year because he was lacking weapons. It happens. Quarterbacks are like that. They can't be all Tom Brady and work with every weapons they have. No.
Let the man finish. He kept trying to let you finish.
Had a bad year.
Yeah.
You said the only reason he had a bad year is because some good players left.
Both his running backs were gone.
Mm-hmm.
De'Ami Brown was gone. Another receiver was gone. His offensive line was terrible last year. The year before that, is the reason why we're talking about Sam Howell today. Think about it. So anyway, he was
projected as possibly the number 2 quarterback off of the board before the season began.
Yeah. So
he was.
You know who was else kind of very similar to that? Your boy over there in Los Angeles was another one who kind of dropped very similarly.
We're both blanking on that.
Herbert?
Justin Herbert. Okay.
So he has a cannon of an arm for his size.
Mm-hmm.
He has he can take a hit and keep going. He doesn't just fall to the ground. He breaks tackles. He's very mobile. He has good legs. He's smart. He stays in the pocket and delivers the throws. Not as scared to take a hit. I think he's going to be a great backup for us.
Nathan?
And we got him in the 5th round. Without having to
is what smart teams do.
Thank you.
Okay. We're not saying that Sam Howell is going to be the future of the Washington Commanders franchise. At least I'm not saying that. Shout out Patrick West, who I guarantee is just giddy that they've taken Sam Howell. I'm okay with it. I said that I was okay when they made the trade after in the 1st round if they used one of the 4th round picks to get that, which essentially they did. They traded away a 4th round pick, got 2 5ths, and took Sam Howell with one of those 5ths. Now,
Nathan, look at my man's face.
He's about as red as that Capitals jersey behind him.
Kind of red.
He's about as stone as his name. He's just...
the thing is again, this is a talent who potentially could be good in this league. You get him when you don't need him, right? Like I'm not saying there's necessarily a need, right? Heineke is a quality backup quarterback in the NFL.
For the season.
Sam Howell could potentially push Heineke this year to be the backup. Heineke, especially with one of their undrafted free agents picked up, is probably not going to be with the team past this year. So you need that QB who's familiar with the system. And Case Wentz, even if he works out this year, okay?
Right.
Let's go to next year and he gets injured. You don't want to start the 5th round rookie when you're in the middle of a playoff run. You want to start that sophomore year player who's had an entire year in the system who can buoy you for a game or two, and then Carson Wentz comes back during halftime and takes us to the championship.
Okay,
that's
Stoner.
What you want, Stoner. And a smart team does that.
Let me ask you this. If we took Malik Willis same spot, would you be this upset?
Yes.
No, you wouldn't.
I'm upset.
He didn't want a QB at all.
Quarterback.
It's not the player, it's the QB.
They use draft capital.
Oh, stop it. It was a 5th round. Stop.
Okay.
It wasn't like we traded up and wasted a 2nd round pick.
Okay, so now you're
5th round.
Reminder, Stoner was about the dog on Cole Turner because he's a 5th rounder, but now he's upset that a 5th rounder was spent on a QB.
Okay, but
way to flip-flop on your 5th round choices here, Stoner.
That's where you get depth guys who play special teams.
Depth guy. You just said depth guy. That's what this is. This is a depth guy.
That's what Percy Butler is.
Best.
Not at best. At best, I just told you he pushes Heineke for that 2nd spot.
He will never, not one time this entire season, will he put on a uniform.
You need to stop right now.
And be counted against the Rock.
It's Sam Howell. It's not like we signed Brock Purdy with the 299th pick or whatever the last pick it is in the draft.
Okay, Trev.
Okay.
You had QB needy teams. Atlanta, Carolina.
We are one of those teams.
No, we're not.
All we have is Carson Wentz for a year. Taylor Heineke is.
We gave up 2 draft picks. We need $28 million to get this guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Now all of a sudden we're drafting his backup.
Yes,
drafting his replacement.
Yeah, not his replacement.
Who do you want to go get?
A backup.
He's a backup, bro. Ron Rivera.
You have a backup.
Why are you getting this mad over a backup?
He even called Carson Wentz and told him about the pick. He even told him that it's not about taking your job, it's about developing him so he can be the backup for us for years. That's why they took him.
Here's
if
another
Sam
reason.
Howell's there, 5th round, take him.
Here's another reason I don't like it. Okay. 6 weeks into the season, when Carson Wentz throws a left-handed interception for a defensive touchdown, whatever. You know, I'm making a little hyperbole. when Carson Wentz has a bad game and throws 2 or 3 interceptions in a game, everybody's going to start calling for Sam Howell.
Heineke Hive was already going to do that for Heineke.
Yeah, now it's going to be Howell.
It's going to be the Howlers, sure, but you're going to hear that noise anyways. People didn't like the Wentz trade. It's up to Wentz to show us why they spent those draft picks and have $28 million against the cap. But that's not here or there. That's not the reason to get mad at Howell. And I don't. They're going to call for Howell. They would call for who was Gary Gilbert. Gilbert, what's eating Gilbert Grape?
You put some respect on his name. He played COVID for us. All right.
See?
They would be calling for him.
We took the Eagles to the tilt with Garrett Gilbert.
They would be calling for Gilbert if he was the backup. DC loves their backup quarterback. That's not going to change regardless of who you take.
So let's draft one that everybody thought should have gone in the first couple of rounds to put all kinds of pressure, and it's not on Carson.
No one puts any pressure.
Yes, they do.
Bro,
are you
Malik
serious?
Willis went in the 4th round.
You just said this town loves the backup quarterback more than anything.
Because our starting quarterbacks are shit every year.
Right.
Excuse my language, so that's why we love them.
The media, everybody's going to be all over Ron and the organization about when are they going to put Sam Howell in.
And
that's unnecessary pressure. For the organization.
I wish I could make a bet on that. The media definitely has already pushed it out. Listen, that out there.
Do you think that we can't handle pressure? Do you know what we're going through right now as an organization? And you think that we're going to have to worry about Sam Howell being pressuring Carson Wentz?
That's just another thing that's going to be thrown on their plate.
Legit happens late season, then we're probably in worse trouble than we thought.
They wouldn't have. Come on, Stoner. Sam Howell. Come on.
Carson Wentz threw, it was like 30-7, right? Last year, 3,700 yards. I don't think that this is the biggest deal in the world for you to be freaking out.
5th round, dude. There's 2 more rounds after that.
This is supposed to be positive. Do we have to wait till training camp before you start being positive again?
When it gets to training camp, I'm going to be hype about all these dudes. That's not the point. The point is what my opinion is and my reaction is to the plan that this team is putting together right now. I don't like it.
You don't like it because you don't understand it, and you don't have the vision to see it play out.
And you all are just sitting there and you're just lapping up with their feet.
No, there is some things that I'm not exactly.
Have an opinion about these things.
I do have one. I wasn't happy with
which one do you not like?
I don't like the Chris Paul, the Chris Paul pick.
7th rounder. You
like it. Why do you like it? I don't like it
because it's a position that they need some depth. And
you're not obviously not. Look how easy it was to go get the same position the day after the draft. Right. So why the hell would you waste that draft on the guard if we can go get Trey Turner a day after the draft?
Because it's a 7th rounder, and those are not as valuable as a 2nd rounder when you have a chance to get a playmaker.
When did Cam Curl get drafted?
When who?
7th round. Cam Curl.
Listen, I hate when you do that too.
No, he was a position of need. He was a position of need.
For every Cam Curl, Trevor, there's 100 guys who got drafted in the 7th round.
My thing with that is we needed a safety, and so we took one that we thought would fill the starter role in the 7th round, and it became a gem.
Nobody knew Cam Curl was going to be a starter.
Exactly, but
more special teams, but he's darn good.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. Like, we didn't draft another safety, really. Derek Forrest, but whatever. This draft, we got Andrew. This year, we got Andrew Norville on the offseason already. That's the guard position, and then we got I don't know, somebody else probably. I don't know who else. Lucas or Leno, whatever. I don't know. Then we draft another one, and then we go sign another one. If it was so easy to sign these offensive linemen in the offseason, why did you spend, like you say, draft capital on a guard that's not going to see the field for us ever? Right.
Same reason why they drafted Sam Howell, by the way.
But he will.
That position, you love to develop these guys.
That's what I'm saying. Pick a 7th rounder that's a position of need. We didn't need another guard.
Well, you did. You always need plenty of offensive linemen.
Why? To go to training camp with 11 of them and just be like, thanks for coming.
Because there's 5 of them that start, and there's.
Look at the injuries they had this last year. You want to stack up. one of the most important positions on the field. Okay,
But
they're the ones who are going to keep Carson Wentz upright. Or give him enough time to gamble for a big throw to Dotson. There's a lot of things to love about offensive line.
He's going to be another Sadiq Charles for us, and you guys both know that.
But that's fine. Sadiq Charles was a 3rd rounder. That's important capital.
A 4th, but yeah.
Or maybe he was a 4th rounder. He was a 3rd or 4th rounder. And then you got a 7th rounder. Those guys are just pretty much, you're just shooting, throwing darts at a board and see who comes up.
They're camp bodies.
Yeah,
especially linemen.
Exactly. That's exactly what they are. So don't worry about the 7th rounder.
And so the 5th rounder is probably the best player available with Sam Howell. It made sense to do it. We still need quarterback help, bro. We're going to camp with 2 quarterbacks. And Carson Wentz, as much as a winning quarterback he is, he's injury prone as heck. And then we all know what Taylor Heineke can do. So clearly,
I can name 10 guys who don't have a job right now that are better than Sam Howell.
Stop it.
I can't.
You can't objectively say that.
Every quarterback
you cannot objectively say that. You know what? If they were, then they would have an NFL draft.
Exactly.
And we already position right now. They do not. And Sam Howell does. Don't give me that. You do not know how good of a QB Sam Howell's going to be. Okay, so don't come here.
I didn't say that.
You just said that you can name 10 guys better than him, and you cannot objectively tell me that.
Listen to what I'm saying.
Name them.
Every quarterback in the USFL is better than Sam Howell now.
Stop it.
Right now. I'm not saying next year or 2 years from now or 3 years from now. Right now, they are all better than Sam Howell.
I'm telling you right now, Sam Howell could go there. He could have not been drafted, been signed there, and would have been MVP of that league. Are you kidding me? Half the guys that are in the USFL had numerous chances in the NFL to make it, and they didn't do it. So how can you say that?
And Sam Howell is going to be the same thing. He's going to flame out. Because tell me right now on starters for next year, 32 starting quarterbacks, how many were drafted in the 5th round or later?
What?
I don't have an answer.
How many starting quarterbacks for this coming season, the 32 teams, were drafted in the 5th round or later, or undrafted? I can name one.
When was Pat Mahomes drafted?
Tom Brady.
He was drafted in the 1st round.
When was Aaron Rodgers drafted?
They're all first rounders. Or you've got Kirk Cousins, Dak Prescott, Russell Wilson, who are all 3rd or better. I think Cousins was a 4th rounder.
Yeah, drafted after
the
1st round. It's a
okay.
5th rounders don't work.
Stoner, we didn't draft him to be the starter.
Yeah,
we
I don't know why he continues to get hung up on this. By the way, he's going to have
because he's a good quarterback.
You develop him into being a good quarterback.
You develop into he could potentially be the starter. That's why you draft him. You don't go out there and get somebody signed off the street.
The potential is there.
That's why you get it, to solidify your backup,
what pick number was he?
He was pick number 144.
Come on, bro.
143 teams passed on him.
When was Malik Willis picked? When was Malik Willis picked?
I don't care about Malik Willis. We're talking
about he just wants to dog on the Commanders' picks.
You should, because Malik Willis was the number 1 rated quarterback to come out, and he didn't get drafted to the 4th round.
I don't care about ratings. I don't care about rankings. I don't care about grades. I don't care about overdrafted or
underdrafted. You have to if you think Sam Howell's not going to pan out.
My team and what they're drafting.
But you have to care about if you think Sam Howell's not going to pan out.
He's not going to. I'm going to take the.
That means you never wanted Sam Howell. So that brings it to my point. You mean you can literally sit there and say, if Malik Willis came in the exact same spot as we took Sam Howell and we took him, you feel the exact same way, and it's Malik Willis.
Correct.
He just doesn't want a QB. It's fine. It's fine. He's stuck in his ways.
I'm done with this cockroach.
He's stuck in his ways. He wants to be unhappy. We'll get him back later on something where he gets a little bit better feelings about how things are panning out when he sees the bigger picture and he understands how things are going. But I guess I have to give him, because he's pointing up his finger, another chance to just hate on the team, which I don't get. I just don't get why this is not the time to do that.
I hope to the big fella up there.
I hope they all pan out and make the squad.
I hope that
don't be soft now.
Big dummy and don't know anything, and I'm wrong about all of these picks.
I can tell you right now, you
my
are.
team. I want my team to win, and that's why I'm passionate about my opinions about what they're doing. And I don't know anything. Like I said, maybe Daron Payne's going to get suspended for 6 games
right now.
for PED. But I'm just a fan. Just like that.
Stoner, did you like last year?
I love my team.
Which draft you like better, last year or this year's?
I liked last year's draft a lot better.
Really?
At this time, you were more confident last year's draft than you are this year's draft?
He hated the Davis pick.
I did not like Jamin Davis, and that's
but everything else was cool.
But I loved Cosme pick.
You love Derek Forrest pick for real? You love that pick?
Well, I love the position. Once you start getting past the third round, then it's just kind of like
we talked about our bust thing after the 100 picks. It kind of gets a little bit dicey.
I love De'Ami
for the record.
Brown
They had 3 within the top 100: 16, 47, 98. That was Jahan Dotson, Philandria Mathis, Brian Robertson Jr. were all within the top 100. Yeah. So let me ask you this: what would make this a successful draft for you?
There we go.
When the 53-man roster comes out, how many of these names out of these
that's a good one.
9 picks that were taken,
I like that,
need to make the roster, the 53-man roster? Or do you think practice squad for some of these later rounds is fair enough? Because if Chris Paul makes the practice squad, isn't that a success for a 7th round pick?
Absolutely.
Okay. Just so out of the top, the first 4 picks, how many of them need to make the 53? All of them.
All 4 of them? Absolutely.
Okay, there you go. So then from round 5 on, you have Sam Howell, Cole Turner, Chris Paul, Christian Holmes. How many of them need to make the 53, and how many of them need to make the practice squad?
I don't necessarily need any of them to make it.
Oh my
God. To be successful.
What makes this a successful draft to you, Stoner?
When
are we looking at this back here, and we're going to see this as a successful draft? Here's one of the things that this is the way I'm looking at it. I realize
I love you guys so much. I don't know how to answer that.
I don't know how to answer that. I don't know how to.
We've probably lost people at this point, but I'm going to give my breakdown. Can I give my breakdown of things real quick? Okay, because I've not done that. Stoner told me I got to take a side.
Yeah.
All right. Jahan Dotson loved the pick. Okay. I know you guys were big on Chris Olave. I was surprised that they traded back, but here's the thing. They got so much value there by trading back.
You can play multiple positions.
And getting Jahan Dotson, who by all accounts is a darn good receiver coming out of college and could do exciting things for the Commanders. We wanted offensive playmakers. We got an offensive playmaker. Great pick there in the round 1.
Agreed.
I at first did not like the round 2 pick. I was with you guys. I was just like, what in the world are we doing? And then I started digging into it and try to understand it from Ron's point of view and Mayhew's point of view, the team's point of view here. Getting that defensive tackle who's going to play 55% of the snaps because you don't have another guy to do that. That's actually pretty darn valuable to have a guy of second round talent to do that. Plus, it gives you the ability to walk away from Daron Payne without severely impacting the team next year. But it also puts you in the power to actually sign him and have a strong defensive front. Okay. It gives you that leverage to move either way. So those are some of the reasons why I like that one. I don't think they're going to sign him. I'm saying it gives you the power to go either way. It doesn't force you into needing to keep him, and it doesn't force you into having to replace him right away when you can't sign him. Brian Robinson Jr., I've talked about the fact this is probably my least favorite pick, by the way. This as far as Stoner tell me which pick he doesn't like. Brian Robinson Jr. is one of the ones I wasn't. I think that you need more dual purpose backs in this NFL and the offensive. And I think that Brian Robinson Jr. is mostly going to be the thumper. You mentioned, the replacement. I think that he could be fine. I'm excited to see some of those lineups that Scott Turner could do, but my least favorite pick. Percy Butler, we needed a safety. I said the third safety is more important than linebacker. He wasn't exactly the safety I wanted. I wanted Kyle Hamilton, then I wanted Brisker. I actually wanted a couple others before that. But by the time they came to pick there with the 47th pick, I was chanting Brisker here at the house, and then they didn't take him. But they finally got one, Percy Butler. He's a long, lanky dude, plays with some downhill speed. Maybe that's the person that we're going to see there in that famed Buffalo nickel role. Sam Howell.
You liked it too?
Sam Howell. Thank you. We actually got a positive note out of Stoner.
I said that earlier.
He did say that. He did say that.
I love the Percy Butler pick.
Mm-hmm.
I said it before they even took a QB that I was okay if they turned one of those fourth rounders, preferably the later one, into a QB for developmental purposes. We know Heineke's not the answer. He's a decent backup, but now we got a kid who can sling it, and next year can be the backup for Carson Wentz in case. I don't think he's as injury prone as people say he is, but let's say he plays all 17 games this year that they're going to play, maybe more because they go into the playoffs. Sam Howell next year, if he does end up missing, if Wentz misses time, gets to see the field and he has experience under here. Not only that, how many people this last season were pining over flipping Huntley up the road going, I want that QB, right? Let's develop Sam Howell into a guy that other teams are salivating over. That would be great. Wouldn't that be great to have a player that people want?
Can I ask a question here? May I ask a question, please?
Yeah.
Is it not best case scenario that Sam Howell never plays for Washington?
It's best. God, I'm not going to say it's best case scenario. That's not, because best case scenario is he plays for the Commanders. They win a Super Bowl with him playing. He's Tom Brady, right? That's the best case scenario. A 6th round pick, Tom Brady, 5th round pick, Sam Howell, getting multiple Super Bowls. That's best case scenario. What you're trying to say is ideally as the 5th round pick after Washington traded away a 3rd and potentially a 2nd, but 2/3 currently, and is spending $28 million on Carson Wentz, that Sam Howell doesn't see the field this year. And you're right. I don't want a 5th round pick seeing the field this year. I would like for QB anyways. That's not ideal for any franchise.
Oh.
You get them to develop them, Stoner. I'm moving along on my list. I gave you your time. You're going to listen to my time. All right. We got Cole Turner, tight end, big target for Carson Wentz. Dude's like 6'7", and he's fast. Now, I'm not sure if it's going to really pan out. You guys know I love myself some Sammis Reyes. Between Cole Turner and like the 36 tight ends that are coming to the camp here, it's actually really just, let's see, 2 more coming in as undrafted free agents. It looks like Sammis Reyes' days are numbered. That's fine. What we need is, it's a great story, but I just need somebody to move out there the way you guys loved Ricky Seals-Jones, right? So
I liked it.
If Cole Turner could just be that red zone target and leave some of that, the time that we're going to missing from Logan Thomas, who I know you guys fanboy over, then Cole Turner. I'm not saying he's going to be great, but he's 6'7". He just has to hold up his hands and he's going to catch a touchdown.
He'll be fine.
Chris Paul, always loved myself some offensive line depth there in the 7th round is perfect. And Christian Holm, it's probably not going to see the field. If he does, he's a special teamer. But hey, this is going to replace those. This is going to replace those McTorries and the Corn Elders. Yeah, this is who that guy's going to replace, right? Yeah. He's just going to be a cheaper option than some of the vets that they've held on the field. So that's how I feel about it. I'm a bit of an optist, right? I'm positive Perry here, but this is the time to be positive. You don't know how they're going to be.
Your Twitter name.
Yeah, it is.
Why can't I have
Stoner? Hold on, Stoner.
You can have it.
Hear me out real quick. We said this during the draft night. Every team is undefeated at this point, right?
Yeah. Damn right.
These players have not touched the field. Every single one of these still has the potential to be a Hall of Fame player. They not?
Okay.
They do.
Right. But you can't just have that attitude and say they're all potential Hall of Famers, and so I don't have an opinion on.
I just gave my why I like them.
Have an opinion.
I love your opinion.
By the way, you guys focused all about the ones I didn't like. I said I love Dotson. I loved Butler. I loved
Chris Paul.
The 7th rounders, Chris Paul and Holmes,
who apparently has a mixtape out or something like that.
I love those.
Checked out yet.
You guys focused on my negative. I just had
it's because you were very loud with your negatives.
You like all the ones that that aren't going to contribute to this team. That's the ones you like.
Well, Dotson's going to contribute to this team.
Chris Paul, Christian Holmes, no.
What about Butler?
Yeah, so 2 for 2. 2 for 2.
Depends on what they do with Landon Collins. That's still out there as far as the question. We'll probably talk about that on our Wednesday show. Make sure that you stay tuned to that. Let's move to the undrafted free agents real quick, just briefly.
Okay.
Any of the names that you stood out to you that you liked? Not a one.
Nope.
That Drew White linebacker from Notre Dame.
Yeah, there's your linebacker, Drew White. Linebacker from Notre Dame.
There's your answer.
I'm interested to see what that is. But there's so many notable free agent veteran linebackers out there that I didn't even think about. I mean, I think we're going to go that route. Honestly, I mean, we just did it with Trey Turner with offensive line.
Stoner, you're going to hate this, but I liked the QB pickup, Cole Kelly, Southeast Louisiana.
Oh, I hate it. I don't know. Now
Guy's
that one, Stoner.
6'7".
I'm with
He's
you.
a camp body. He's probably just going to sit on the practice squad.
Well, see, that's where you and I different.
I like the end of the bench guys. I like the end of the bench guys. They're fun.
Yeah, you're okay because there's no draft capital spent on them, so that's why you're okay with them.
And there's no expectation out of him.
If he turns into something great,
or anybody.
I mean, they said they're going to push Sam Howell in there in competition for the spot, but we'll see what happens.
We'll see how it goes. Maybe we ditch Heineke altogether. You never know. Yeah. Let us know in the draft who was your favorite pick or draft. Let us know in the comments rather who in this draft was your favorite pick. Which pick did you not like? We know a podcast that we'll be joining sometime here in the near future. Tim was not a big fan of several of these picks, so stay tuned for more of that. We'll share when we're going to be jumping on that channel with him. Make sure you also like and subscribe to our channel. We appreciate the support. And until next time,
love the draft.
Be a fan. Hey, thanks for watching us here on Ref the District. While you're at it, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Check out one of these other videos here as well. We create lots of great content. Of course, we're live every Wednesday at 7:30. Things get pretty heated there as well. Until next time, be a fan.